All right, we are live. We are hot mics. Ann, can you hear us?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. I'm going to hit record on our recorder and start this meeting. Good evening, everyone. It is Thursday, April 16th, 6:01. This is a Bluff Planning and Zoning work session. We'll get started with the roll call. Malia Collins, Chair.
Marcia Hayden vote.
Caitlin McLennan.
Ann Brown.
And Brian Whitney has an excused absence. Because this is a work session, we don't have any public comment or anything of the sort, so we'll start with number one, inquiry from resident regarding subdividing lot. Jim Davila is here with lots of papers.
Oh, boy. You have a lot of papers. I'm not giving you half of them.
Goodness.
So I am proposing to do a land partition. I have the application filled out. We would like to split off a half an acre of a residential lot that we own here in Bluff. So, lots of copies. I did not measure out completely on the little piece of paper here that's highlighted, but I did put the measurements on it.
Fabulous. For you, Ann, we'll say them out loud.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So we are looking at, this is what I was just looking, okay, we are looking at the section 25, township 40 south, range 21 east. I don't know what the tax lot number. And it is in the residential zone, and I am hoping to partition a half acre of land.
And so, Ann, it is on
It's on
the
block 11.
corner of Mulberry, Fifth,
Fifth.
Eve, and Black Locust on the east side of town.
Doesn't hit Black Locust though.
Does
right?
not hit Black
No.
Locust.
No.
And it has been issued an address. The current address for the property is 152 North Fifth East.
Oh, as in the entrance would be on Fifth Street.
Yes.
Which is basically and anyone else that
Across
is
from the church.
directly across the street from Seal's front door.
Yep.
You know, would be
Yep.
the entrance to her lot. And it's the one with the little sale sign on the corner.
Yes, it is.
That is so funny because I went, sale
Mhm.
lot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So what do you need from us?
I don't know.
Great question. So because we have not received the application yet, I was looking at the subdivision ordinance, and so what we can consider this as a pre-application meeting. So if you're on the subdivision ordinance, as it is on page 14.
Excellent.
I will pull that up and share my screen, because I will
Yeah.
also share that. So that we can all look at it together. And so what we're doing here is just looking through her application, seeing if there's anything else that she needs from us so that we can just move along. Marcia's calling timeout.
Not timeout, I'm questioning what, so this is a pre-act for subdivision application under this title. Because this isn't a subdivision, this is a land partition.
Correct.
Is it
It
in
is.
our subdivision ordinance?
It is,
Got it.
because it is defined as, sorry, I'll get my words together.
No,
Um,
I know we talked about this, so
Yeah.
it's coming back to me.
It's exciting to get to use our new subdivision ordinance. Thank you, Hanson Group, but this is a minor subdivision. Because it is a subdivision of the land. Subdivision means any land that is divided, subdivided, or proposed to be divided into two or more lots or other division of land for the purpose, whether immediate or future, for offer, sale, lease, or development. Then it continues on. And so, this is a subdivision.
And that's fine. So far, everything sort of fits,
Mhm.
except I'm just trying to remember words to the effect of just separating two lots, as in not having to go through. What am I thinking?
There is probably a very good reasoning that she should. So this would be, so going up to page 8. Close your eyes. It's gonna make you very
Don't
anxious.
get dizzy.
The land use authority. And so, a new subdivision application, we would be the land use authority. This is not a lot line adjustment. This is not a subdivision amendment. And so,
But
this would
that's,
go through us.
yikes. Okay, what am I thinking? I'm gonna put this away for a minute and go to. Maybe I'm thinking of the little one where you have, like the ranch and you want to give 2 acres to your, but that's not what I'm thinking of. My goodness.
So this was my hope with this meeting, is that we can get an
Figure out
idea,
what it
figure,
is.
because this
Good.
is the first land partition application that I have received since being in planning and zoning, and definitely as chair. So just if there's anything else that we would need from Jen to provide, just to make this a
Sure,
smooth process.
sure.
And also help familiarize us with the process. She has turned it in on a sheet measuring at least 8.5 by 11. Well done.
Hard to find other.
She did not.
While you're all thinking, Jen, what's on the other side of the half acre? Since-
On the south side of the half acre, there's a vacant lot still, which we will develop as well. On the east side of the lot, there is a house. On the west side of the lot is the street. On the north side of the lot is the street.
Mulberry Street.
Yep, Mulberry
On
and
the-
Fitch.
The back empty side faces the fort. And the empty
Okay,
part.
oh, that lot. Okay. I got it. Okay, I'm there. I'm on it. Thank you. Thank you all for my lack of knowing
Oh, it
where
takes,
things are.
didn't we try and specify? I believe what I'm trying to get to here before I take everybody down this rabbit hole that's in my head. And Malia's seen where that's led before. Is the idea that this is sort of all we need versus subdivision stuff. We don't need site plans, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm just making sure where that comes from, that we just need a lot division thing. You
That's
know
what
what I?
Erin and I were talking about the other night, and she, because Malia and I had questioned some other things, but Erin believes that you can do up to 6 without.
Yeah, so here on exceptions to specific application requirements. Under B, minor subdivisions. Number 1, applications to subdivide land are exempt from plat requirements, but not other application requirements. If it results in no more than 6, is not traversed by map lines of a proposed street, has been approved by the Culinary Water Authority and Sanitary Waste Authority.
We already have, yes to both of those. We already have a septic design and approval. That will probably commence after we sell the lot.
But you have a
Yeah.
piece of paper saying that
Yeah,
you're-
Antonio has plant, but yeah, we've done test holes and have them approved by Dennis Shumway and have an approved design by Quinn Palmer. Watermarks says there's no problem getting water to it. I have not hit to put a meter on it yet, but yes. And electricity has already been, the electricity lines are already in the works as well.
Okay, this is great. I think we're there, but I agree with you that something is telling me what it is we need to just be able to say yes to just this with the piece of paper that says it's an okay lot. You know, that, I mean, septic and whatever. I believe our duty in this is to protect a buyer from getting this half acre and having someone say, well, can't put a sewer there, can't put, you know, having the officials say, no, we need to protect that.
Yeah.
So Antonio's on his way home right now, and I can have him
No,
submit the septic plan.
yeah, we don't need it tonight
If you
because
want
we're
to
just
submit them with
talking.
this application, that's plenty. You don't need to get it tonight.
Yep. Okay,
That'll
thank
be
you
part
for,
of the approval.
thank
Yeah.
you for indulging my brain here. I just want to keep it simple because this is exactly what Malia is saying, trying out.
If you also want, we have, I mean, at this point in time, I mean, this is our proposed house footprint for the plans that we had to build on it. I'm not sure that the people who are looking at buying it right now are going to use this plan. But, you know, I mean, we have been in consideration of lot setbacks and things like that, and,
Building envelope is what
Yeah.
you're talking about. There is room for a building, and that is the other one that we're
Yeah.
concerned with.
so I can turn this into.
I would say just make a copy of all of that for an application. Yeah. This is cool. Okay.
This is cool.
Cause then we're gonna see if it works.
Exactly.
Sucker.
And so to just be very thorough, this is a residential lot, and so reviewing our minimum lot sizes, it has to be a half acre. Then it has to meet the setbacks of 15 feet on,
The builder, the developer, 15
Yeah,
side,
so when-
side
yeah,
and
yeah.
backyard,
and you've taken
25 on
that
the
into
front.
account for your building, so that you do know that a building does fit in that way. Perfect.
So your 25-foot front yard is Fifth Street. That's what.
No, my 25-foot front yard is going to be mulberry. Aaron didn't think that that would be a
Yes.
problem.
No, that is, you have to face the front. Where do you
How do
have
we
to?
determine front yards? Is that written out anywhere?
Yeah, I think it's in,
I mean, if I have to do that, I'll just change the address, but and put the access in on mulberry, because I can't do 25 feet on the east and west side.
I. Go on, keep talking.
Well, I think that this is an interesting point, something that we can, as we're working on our zoning code right now. Is that if we don't have anything that specifically says how you determine the front and the rear, the sides are determined by that. But how are we determining the front and the rear?
Okay,
I know.
I'm. Oh,
Yeah, yes, please.
In Utah, there is no statewide law requiring a front yard to face the entry street.
Front right of way and 15 feet from the side and rear property
Right,
boundaries.
so you can choose that the house faces front Mulberry Street. But your entrance to that house is going to be Fifth Street.
The driveway at least.
That's what you're
Yeah,
saying.
that's I mean, I mean, the way we have it placed right now, we would put, yes, we would put the entrance, the driveway entrance in towards the south. And have the entrance towards the south. I mean, personally, I wouldn't do anything with mulberry, but.
Right.
But you just said,
Well, so here, this is. So my proposed is that we would have a driveway located down here and have the entrance of the house on the south side, which is well within 25 feet, and then have 25 feet off the back. And the sides are just the sides.
15.
Yeah.
Which is no, this is
mulberry. This is Fifth.
oh, so it's just small there. So technically, you're 25 there and 25 there, but you're calling the sides 15 from Jean's house and 15 from.
Well, not
15th
15
Street.
from Jean's house. but
For Jean property
Jean's
line.
property line, yes. Yes,
Property
that's
line
my
and-
proposed.
And 15 from 50th
Mhm.
Street. Okay, well, since I seem to have not seen what I thought, then that sounds okay. Okay,
That's good information as we're going through the zoning code to know that the front is not necessarily where the driveway is.
I
That
think
is
I
up
read
to
it at some point when my neighbor built her house sideways in front of me.
Mhm.
And something stuck about, I don't think, but that was back when we were county. And nobody stopped them from doing it anyway, so that's maybe what's stuck in my head. Sorry.
No, thank you for bringing it up. That's a really good point. I have no further questions. Does anyone else have any further thoughts on this?
I do not.
Now is the next step just the full application?
Yep, bringing it all to a regular meeting.
Looks like you've got plenty of space. I mean. Yeah. It's an interesting lot. And how?
She'll say no more on the record.
Heard. Yes,
I
perfect.
would like to not do it in an L, but, that's how it's written, so that's what we did.
And so it was written. Okay, perfect. So in that case, next step would be that you'll turn this application in, and I am not even sure if it will come back to us. I can't imagine it would, because it meets everything. Because what we're doing is just helping to determine that your application is complete. But we will let town manager let us know if it needs to come back to us.
You're saying by the chart you read that this is a town council decision? No, I think by the chart.
No, it is an us decision.
So then we have
So
to
it
have
doesn't
it
need to
at
come
our
back to
next,
us?
yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
doesn't,
it'll come back
This,
to
this,
application will come back to planning and zoning.
Okay.
this is just a discussion of helping a neighbor turn it or look at paperwork, and we're saying, looks like you're close, bring it to a real, or submit it for a real meeting.
Mhm.
So if you get it submitted to Erin and Malia as a submittal, then it comes on our agenda.
Okay. And next P and Z is in 2 weeks.
Yeah, May
It'll
7th, I
be,
think it's
yeah,
actually.
and it actually works out because then we can put it on the vote, because this is just a work
Yeah,
session. anyway.
Perfect.
Yes. So I'll give that one back to you.
Okay.
So you
Brought
can
a
bring
copy
them all
of
back.
each of you, but.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
thank you, Jen. Appreciate you coming in.
Yes, ma'am. It's good to see you all.
Good to see
Marcia,
you.
I'm glad that you're well.
Thank you. No, that's fine. Actually, that good, so I will just look up. Front yard question mark for my edification.
All right, number 2, discussion of WUI code, and next step, this is Marcia.
Thanks, Jen. Thank you.
Oh, it's come to you.
Did I give you one? Did I give you? one?
Yes, I have one.
Okay, so here's what's going on. I put together my notes. Oh, okay, let's back up. We, starting right at the top of the note that I made for everyone today, and then was unable to send because I ended up, otherwise occupied. Therefore, I just brought us a paper copy, and Anne, I'm sorry you don't see it, but all it is just my talking points. So you'll know in a minute what we're talking about. Okay. Just starting at the top, Bluff must, you can take her, yeah. Bluff must adopt a WUI ordinance with the map showing WUI, meaning wildland urban interface map, showing where we think we need to be responsible for the interface map, the interface agency stuff. So we need to get this done because it all was due January 26th, but they're being nice to some of us little guys and ignoring us till we get caught up. However, the town adopts it. We don't, P&Z, this isn't our job to make the ordinance or anything. There are sample ordinances in there. There's all kinds of things they can do. They will do that. What they're asking us for is the map, and we, in our wisdom, decided as P&Z, well, we're gonna wait for town council to put it all together, and then they'll ask us for some map input or to look at the map. It turns out that Mayor Josh was telling Malia and myself just in passing of, hey, we're kind of waiting for the map. And we went, uh-oh. So what we have is a little miscommunication here. Josh is asking that P&Z present a map for the town to use in adopting an ordinance and map. And we would be giving them the recommendation of a WUI overlay zone. This does not change any zoning like residential, etc. This just covers the wildland interface. So they have viewers of the maps, which I don't know, Malia, if you'd like to open that tonight for us to point to and look at. Do you have it? the one with the.
Yeah, I'll find that email.
I'm sorry,
No, it's okay. I should
I
have
should
thought
have
about
warned,
it.
I should have warned you. Okay, so where we are in the process then is, yeah, exactly, wherever that is. Where we are in the plan is, if tonight we can discuss as the four of us, a basic discussion of what we want covered in this map, then the process would be for us to do that at our next meeting as a, here's what we think we should do, and make it into a suggested map to hand to town council for approval or additions and changes.
Mhm.
That's where we are in the process. So in order to do that, there you go, perfect. No, go to the, yeah, no, go back to the one, yeah, go to, you're signed in already?
I don't know.
Go to, at the top, you should be able to launch the Risk Explorer.
Oh,
And
there.
yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Right. Oops, sign in.
And Anne, once I'm not typing in passwords, I will share this.
Yep, that's.
I'm really sorry Jose just came by to say goodbye, and of course, that's always a teary moment.
Oh.
Since he's leaving in the morning.
Okay, there we go.
Sorry.
Now do layers. Or the top, yeah, somewhere up there. No, up top. What does it say, the last?
Map themes.
Let me zoom in on our area first.
Yeah.
That's gonna help. So what we have to do here, map needs.
No. There, right there, second one or yeah. Suggested, so. We're almost there. Okay, so while you're doing that, here's what's happening. We get to say, in the HB 4182, HB 41 said that you can have only 5 and above in your WUI. Unless, and I wrote the quote right there, unless approved by state fire people, the forestry, the fire, the state lands. So if we did that, we'd only be on that light tan to dark tan area. Oops.
Just sharing it so that Anne can see what we're
Oh,
looking at.
sorry, no, you're fine.
Okay.
Okay, so if that's true,
So this is our dark tan. This is a 5 out of 8. This is a 4 out of 8. And this is a 6 out of 8.
so the deal is, according to the new law, we can only have 5 and above in our WUI. But the discussion becomes, do we want any other? So one of the things we heard from the mayor the first time we all did the work session is he would prefer not to see it cut off just by a street or two. His belief is that, yeah, exactly. See her arrow going up and down, just cuts it off. I think it cuts it off at my house, but not, Twin Rocks or something, whatever.
Right.
So now this has just been open discussion. It hasn't been debated. It hasn't been, the town council hasn't debated it that I know about. They may have just said they're going to do it, but they haven't. So what we are asked to perform is to design the circle that we want and tell town, look, we just want that kind of triangle right there. We don't want to keep going, keep going. Or, hey, look, it cuts it off at Marcia's house. We better ask them to approve a little bit more. Okay? That's what we're here to talk about tonight, because if we generalize tonight at our next meeting, we can get specific and approve and vote. And I put some notes here just about things that to remember. We've talked about this a few times in general terms, and that is that once you're in the WUI, then other criteria come to play. If it's all for new building or major remodeling, it's not for existing homes, and it's not for, just, oh, I fixed my porch. It is major stuff or new build, and you must meet codes. Well, you must meet a level of code. If it's just a house and it's in a 5 and it's on a regular street with a hydrant, you probably don't have a lot to meet except the roof or the siding or good windows or whatever the basic rules are, which, by the way, you probably want to meet anyway.
Right.
However, if you're in a 5 or above and you have other problems, like you're up the winding road and only one fire truck could possibly get up there, you may be responsible for a turnaround in the road or things like that. Well, we don't have a lot of that. So we're not going to be crazy here where we go, uh-oh, we're restricting our neighbors from building. We don't really have a lot of that. So we should be okay. But are we restricting no, but are we adding to something we don't need to add to if we go to that 3-4 zone and say, include me?
So essentially, clarifying question.
Yep.
If we adopt a like circle or an overlay or whatever that has the level 5 high
Above.
exposure risk and above, right? That would mean, thinking very personally, my
Yep.
address is in a level 5, I guess.
Mhm.
Would we have to get like a permit or variance or something to build the house?
No,
No.
you would, when you go to build your house, yeah, you'd be a good example. If you're in where the overlay says WUI,
Yeah.
then you're gonna put together your plans for your house
Uh-huh.
and you're gonna go to the building department, and the building department is gonna go, okay, you're in WUI. Oh, you have an easy access road. Oh, look, there's a hydrant. So here's what you must meet.
Yeah.
And the must meet would be, like I said, this is me just chatting here. I'm not saying what you have to meet.
Mm-hmm.
Good siding,
Building
not a,
materials,
not a
also to a
wood
certain
chip roof,
price.
so.
Well, we were thinking about building a straw house.
Well, hey, straw bale is definitely a consideration, and I don't know where it fits in the fire code. But the building department will.
Okay.
So you might, it's going to be adopted.
Yeah.
You are going to have to meet this.
Right.
Cause you're in a 5.
Because you're in a 5, whether we do it or not. So the main thing to understand is the building department has rules already.
Right.
These are just more concise, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
The other part of that is the insurance people, when they go to insure your house. Oh, you're in a 5? Okay, but look, you've got a hydrant on 5th Street or 4th, wherever you live, and you've got, so all things considered, you're not going to be any higher than you would have been anyway.
Right.
And you actually might be better off because you're going to build to new standard.
Right.
So
Right.
there's the good, bad, and ugly to each of these pieces.
Yeah. It is interesting about like barrier right there. That's like just breaking, what is it? Mulberry in half.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Um,
and I pulled up a Google map so we can kind of see where that is. Where it kind of is dividing, and I feel like it's where we were just looking,
yeah.
at that property.
Yeah.
That Jen just came in with.
So
It's
Gina,
actually 5th, right here. So 5th, then it like cut.
Jean and Teresa's house is
Yeah.
the cut off this, you know,
Yeah.
that way.
And so
Anyway,
it's actually like right here
Yep.
is where that
yep,
cut is. And it continues down. So the question that Mayor Ewing has asked us to answer is, do we want to include these number 4s in the number 5? Or do we,
and we won't get it necessarily, by the way.
Yeah,
The
it's a
town
matter of
has to
feeling.
apply.
yeah.
The
or-
town has to say, our planning and zoning recommended that you add the rest of Mulberry and the rest of that street because, look at, you know, how close the house is, okay? So the fire marshals could come back and go, no, we're not going extra. Or they could go, hey, what the heck, it's close enough.
mm,
So I'm just gonna flat out say that for discussion purposes, my personal opinion is do some sort of triangle there that follows there. So it's just up at the top, come down, go to the bottom, and it looks like it. Follow the tan line, okay, inside Bluff
right.
and make that the WUI and see how far it takes us. For example, we do wanna watch out for, you know, mains, there you go. Where does that end up? Okay, can you put the town boundary there? Can we see?
Yeah, here's some of the boundary
You can't see
right
it.
here,
Where
where
you
my
point-
house is.
Yeah,
And so as I continue out, you can see the river
yeah,
as the southern boundary.
okay,
And we go all the way to the west,
it's right there, I think, yeah.
ends here. And so we have a 6 there, 5, 4.
Wait, no, the
three.
town boundaries before Comb Ridge, right?
Right
yeah.
here it has its extending past.
Really?
Yeah, right here is the corner,
Really?
at least according to this map.
That's bizarre. I didn't think we hit the ridge. I thought we went to the ridge. Okay. But you can tell, we don't care about any of that beyond the 5 corner there, at least in my opinion, that we would be worried if someone was building out on Comb Ridge, you know, out to Comb Ridge. We want to come in. Look at how the tan looks like, what does it look like? A witch's hat? It goes up and comes down, or a chimney, or
Where are you looking?
to the river, up, no, go to Comb Wash. I mean, to Cottonwood Wash, excuse me. Wrong, yeah, go to
It
Cottonwood,
does kind of.
there you go. So up, it's coming down, there you go, and it swings out
Oh, yes.
to the river, and then on the other side does the same thing, come down, swing out there.
I was looking at the kidney right here.
Yeah, no
The
kidding.
mushroom over here.
Well, okay, now but that says something to us. That says we have to wooey those 5s. So if we overlay a picture on that, are we going to do a triangle and 2 kidneys? Are we, you know what I mean? And that's what we're trying to discuss here, to understand.
I mean, I feel like as much as possible, we're gonna wanna protect the 4s, you know, but at the same time, it does look like the majority of like occupied residential town is in a 5. Is there an option to just adopt the risk explorer, like 5s and above into an overlay and,
Yeah, that's what is required by law.
okay,
And so that's.
and then we get the
That's the
option to
easy
go up.
part, you know, we can't do anything about that. The biggest thing for discussion is, do we want to include these 4s?
I
Do
don't
we
know.
want to ask town council to write the state fire a letter? And my opinion is that we should, because these are houses that are right next to one another and that if there is a fire in one spot, we want those new
Right.
homes that are being built to have the fire standards met. And so what this also means is a sliding scale for what's ever expected. Or that is based also on the amount of brush that's around your house. So there's things that you can do and things that can actually help to lower your score, to make, to help ease the,
Bluff is
The burden.
responsible if we don't follow through with inspection and mitigation.
yeah,
Which is something that the fire department and enforcement officers, are gonna have to work out in this town. So it is in fact up to the town of Bluff, once we have this, to come up with a plan that says what she just,
Mitigation.
yeah. Inspection, mitigation, and change.
And so my thought with this is we would write it out as something like all residential and commercial zones are, fall within it, and then any other fives and above, because that would mean that would include these things that are in the four, but not to extend all the way up onto the bench and extend all the way out to the agriculture area. It would really just like, you know, my neighbor and I, we may have different ratings, but we are close enough that if one house catches on fire or if someone's fire gets out of control, we are all going to be protected.
So going to the west, are you talking about creating this 5 all the way to potential housing that could happen at any time in the future? That 4 space between the 2 5s.
Right. And so at this point, that 4 would not be included because it is zoned agriculture with at least my recommendation. But if we would want to change some sort of language, we could, that could also include this, that 4. But then just next to it is that 5. I'd really love to see how they came up with this. Cause I feel like that could really guide our discussion.
You can click on a couple of different
Likelihood.
likelihoods and see.
Homes.
Ember characteristics.
I do think your gut is right though, Malia, in that ag should probably stay out of it, because it's like, really, we're thinking about
Yeah,
structures.
definitely ag is like.
This is an interesting one. Conditional sources of ember load to buildings.
Ugh.
The developed part of town.
Right, and so then why isn't there a line through this one between a 4 and a 5 as there is with the other one?
I don't know, the overall risk to Bluff is called low.
Oh, totally.
And so, but, and you know, we're not talking, we're not always talking about wildland fire. Typically, sadly, in a residential neighborhood, you're talking about a house on fire.
Yeah.
And the house on fire catches your neighbor's house on fire.
Right.
Because we don't have very quick response time. But that's not what we're doing here, because it's wildfire and urban interface of the responsibilities we carry for. Yeah. I don't know, I think I still am, I absolutely understand your discussion. I think I'm still just 5ing myself away here. I'm living in a dream because, you know, that things have changed so much.
Yeah.
But when you click on the different things and see all the ways you can set things on fire.
Yeah.
What was that one? That was pretty.
That was risk to drinking watersheds and population.
Oh, well, we don't have. Ashes don't get in our water system because it's a aquifer above us, right? Isn't that true? What does that mean?
I have no idea what this
I
is.
mean, it's very low, it's green, it's not.
Right here, we're moderate high.
Where is that? Right at
Oh.
your house or?
No, my house is up here.
Okay, so.
So it's
The
second
community,
east, so that's like Aitchison Whitney area.
third east, what'd you say?
Is that because that's
Second
dense?
east. Is
Second
it why?
It's denser than
Maybe,
the rest of town.
yeah.
Like, cause that area, I feel like I think about it and I'm like, oh yeah, that part's denser. And then when you come over to like the west side, you know, east side divide over there, that's also denser. And so I feel like it's just grouping
Yeah.
population density and
Yeah,
like structure
yeah, yeah, yeah.
density. And then the same thing too, where you, when you click to damage potential, I think, horrifying to think about. There are these little tiny like pixels in the map that are high or low. And so I don't know, I think first glance, I would probably go with the gut, like 5 all around from like that edge of
From
town.
Twin Rocks, basically.
Yeah, from Twin Rocks essentially all the way down to
Desert Rose.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
mhm.
Well,
Well, to Copper Cliffs.
Yeah.
so to
Right.
call-
Right.
But also keep in mind that, what's his name? Gary Greg Simpson, whatever his name is. He has
Okay.
property for sale, residential property for sale at the far, far, far end of Cottonwood. Um,
no,
and actually our fear is always brush fire coming with all these winds that we get. And they always
Sure.
come from the west. So, excuse me. Yeah, I mean, it is a concern, obviously. And I know this isn't relevant. Well, maybe it is relevant, but I heard that Shumway was going to try to do a subdivision out on his grazing property. Have you all heard that? Because that's way out there.
And that's in this area, isn't it? I think that would still be in a 5.
Wait a minute.
As if I understand what I'm.
There's Shumway that's in town, not the disconnect, Shumway at Comb Ridge, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I understand, would need to do a site visit, but I think this 5 would
Cover that.
cover that. But that's a good point to bring up. Looks like we may have some non-quorum field trips coming up.
Well, or quorum, I mean, we're just,
We could also do it that way.
yeah, we should, if we're gonna be talking about stuff like this, that, you know. Okay,
Okay, so with this one, because this is a work session, we obviously won't vote on it, but let's all think about it. Talk amongst each other in a non-quorum fashion and bring something to our next meeting. What are your?
well, no, I would like to continue for
Oh,
another minute or
oh,
two
okay.
and draw a picture here.
Okay.
Do we have capability to draw on this? We do not. right?
No. We could-
Okay.
But I can.
There-
screenshot it, we can
Here's,
open it.
here's my deal. Work sessions are to get this stuff done so that when we're at the meeting, we can go, here's our plan, what do you think? And then Brian can comment and the rest of us can argue our way through it.
Okay. I have our image.
So if you drew, yeah, there you go. If you draw what you're saying. If you draw what you're saying, then you would be drawing virtually all of town. Would you go over towards the Mission and change anything over there?
I don't think so. Let me.
Turn towards the, I mean, let's bring ourselves in from the outside to see what we like, right? Does that make sense? Is the Mission,
So it would be.
are you on the boundary line? Is that what you're using? Cause I can't see it.
No, I. I mean, over here, it doesn't really matter. I guess it would just be up to the river, but then.
What do we do about that splotch of 6?
I mean, it has
It's-
to follow.
Okay.
Because all of the 5s we have no say over. The only thing we have a say over is this 4, and that's to ask, may we include this 4?
Okay.
We just have to say, we're adopting this map. And so if we don't adopt a map that includes a 4, it'll just be the 5s and higher,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, we'd have to show it, you have to show it,
And so what I'm proposing is that we do include this
okay?
chunk of 4. So I can save this one and then we can let somebody else draw and we
Well,
can.
let it keep going. Where, the rest of the, didn't you say you want the kidney and you want the? I'm confused by the small, this is not,
That's just the first selection, I think.
So that would be
We could go all the
the
way
section
big.
of town.
okay,
The kidney is included because it's a 5.
It's auto, cause I don't think we want to include, unless the use changes in between the kidney and the witch's hat and the chicken drumstick.
that's very good, I like chicken drumstick.
I'm like, unless, it's like a drumstick plus the fat, it's pretty, that sounds delicious.
We're all hungry,
Right.
okay.
But unless that use changes, which I think, obviously we should know or whatever, I don't know, somewhere where we should say like this use, if you change this use, then we will have to amend the WUI code, which would be a discussion, but, or like if there's a subdivision into a use change, whatever, right? Cause we're making this decision based on that ad.
Yes, but we.
Which is, there,
No, go ahead, it's if we say residential zone and.
which is where we can make our map based on zones. We would
Mhm.
say that anything that is residential or commercial is included in our RUI map.
Heck
And
yeah.
so then if someone does build a subdivision, they're going to ask for a zone change included with that. And then within that, they're going to have to,
Yep.
then it's going to be included.
Slay.
This is not an original thought.
This is hard, yeah, okay.
So I'll pull.
Okay,
I'd probably erase some of these lines, stay within the 5 there and really
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
add that corner.
be,
Probably not even include that.
Right. I think, yeah, we should minimize as much extra 5 as we can.
Right.
Cause I worry about insurance and all that garbage, but like, I do think it does make a lot of sense to include Twin Rocks. Couch, like a coffee shop,
not coffee shop is beyond Twin Rocks, so you're talking across the street. now.
And bluff dwellings.
Is Bluff, where does Bluff Dwellings sit? on our map?
is up here.
I guess if you go across the street, but also thinking about how
Zoned?
we're just using that same logic, right? And there are a couple of structures that could like hypothetically jump and then jump. Especially thinking about like the dry brush situation.
Well, I mean, we've got Liza's and the farm,
Mhm.
we have the mission itself is in town boundary.
But I think the mission, like it would have to be a pretty substantial fire to jump the road to the mission all the way over there, right?
Don't know, I mean, what is it, the mission looks like it's only a 3 or something, right? Where you are. It's not, see, yeah. But if you're saying that the mission doesn't need to be, then neither does Liza. And neither, what we wanna make sure we're not thinking of is
The mission.
an individual property. Okay, the mission could burn, God forbid, the dwellings could burn, God forbid, it's horror to think of anything in this town burning. But if we're talking about wildland interface, we're talking about them showing us what's vulnerable,
Right.
and those places are not. So I wanna make sure our lines don't get bigger than they have to be, that's where I'm coming from, and I understand this could be a vote of, sort of 3-2 or 5-1, whatever.
Right. I think what will make the most sense to me, looking at the like 162.
Yeah.
Right, there's Calf Canyon
Yeah.
Road,
Yep,
then there's that like Kushikapa, and then there's 162 that comes out.
correct,
And I would, if like, just thinking rationally, looking at the map, right, I would take everything under that area of 162 to the other 5, like that little island of 4.
This
And then-
area right here where my mouse is?
Yeah, and then
So,
everything
okay.
that comes up, like if you follow 162
Mhm.
and then you go past where it says Bluff on the other way to the
Oh,
left,
this way, yes.
and then I take like kind of that, and that would be my recommended.
And so you're saying that
Right.
that 162 should be our line.
Yeah.
So 162 is the line, that means Liza's in, Bluff dwellings out.
I think so, because
Okay.
it is unlikely, I mean, and I haven't read any of the freaking new research, but like all of the stuff that I used to read about wildfire risk,
Okay.
it's unlikely that a fire would jump an asphalt road like that. And so I feel like that's a good way to like think about maybe.
And that's,
But that might be a question that maybe I'll come prepared to answer for real.
well, that's what we've got to do is sort of think about the things that mean that to us. But so you would include that, then you'd come across, you'd go up the witch's hat, up the
Mhm.
canyon, you'd come down the witch's hat on the other side and follow the 5 and across
Mhm.
and, but you just now with your arrow,
Mhm.
when you came down, yeah, you cut across there. How about out and to the left?
I mean, we don't have to do anything else here because this is all 5. If we're following this edge.
But you have to have
this
it
is
in the
all
map.
5. Oh, yeah, and it would just, we would follow the 5 on this side
Right.
then.
I think that that would probably be like my only recommendation for additional 5, so.
Okay. Is,
So you would recommend including some of this 4?
No,
This 4,
no,
just. over
just
here.
that.
Yeah.
Cause we know it's built out and.
okay, so that's, so that's a good incentive for me to think compromise is just that side.
Mhm.
I still don't agree, but I could, look at it as the compromise
Mhm.
piece to that.
Yeah.
So, okay. So if we bring this forward to next meeting, then we would be saying, here's what we think we might like to propose to council. What do we think? We'd have this same discussion, for, and shorter perhaps, but we'd have the same discussion and say,
Great square.
yeah, nice.
I can take, I have my iPad at home and I can take a screenshot of this and then like with like a stylus.
Are you saying?
You wanna-
I don't know what I'm doing.
you wanna do that?
I'm happy to, yeah. No, I think you know.
Yeah,
exactly
you're
what
doing,
You're doing amazing, but I can maybe make it a little more accurate.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be
I
great.
can come up with the 2 options where it's just like the red line without that addition and then the red line with the addition we're talking about right now. Which is like exactly what Malia's doing.
there you go.
Sorry, my fingers got.
Don't go too far, cause we can't have the out city camp, we can only have yeah, I don't think you wanna go that far,
Oh.
okay, it's,
This is
Yeah.
a good visual for now.
it is, it kind of looks like, a little bit like a pig snout. Okay, so are we all, do we at least all understand kind of our objective here? Cause that's what my job was, to at least get the message of what we're
Mhm.
trying to do. Okay,
I think definitely.
cool. In that case, I feel good about moving on, cause it's been an hour of whatever.
Excitement.
Okay,
Awesome. Great job. Thanks for thinking that through and sharing that, Marcia.
no problem.
Moving on to our next agenda item number 3. Follow up on the redlined Bluff zoning code and responses from the town attorney.
I wasn't particularly blown away by the answers he sent of,
It's not exhaustive.
So I'll share those since that's what we're
yeah,
discussing.
please.
So the questions that we asked. Number 1 recommendation to remove the commonly understood definitions. Examples would be acre, adjacent, patio. Is this your recommendation also? We are concerned that by removing these, it could make the code more vague / tougher to enforce. His response: clear definitions are critical to code enforcement. If a term is important, it should be defined. All of the terms you use above should be defined in your zoning ordinance changes.
Right.
So to me, that means we should still be defining commonly understood definitions.
Yeah. And I mean, I think maybe jumping ahead a little bit to the state code definitions answer, if acre is defined in state code or whatever, we can just adopt state code's definition of acre if it's different for some reason, but I do, yeah, I agree. with
And
that
so
re-
then it's just going to require the planning and zoning for all eternity to annually go back and make sure that the state code hasn't changed theirs, to make sure that ours is still reflects?
I hear what you say.
Because that's the concern,
No,
is that they changed their definition, and then we now have an incorrect definition, even though we based it off of theirs.
No, because if we don't base it off of theirs, we have a definition that doesn't match theirs anyway.
And theirs is going to still,
Theirs will continue to do what they do. Ours will continue to change on our every few year update because we'll catch something.
What about this sentence where we can borrow from a definition or term in state law, we should do so without relying on the codification reference?
Exactly. So you don't say acre as defined in state law 1020-2.
yeah,
You just say acre, give a definition, and you've stolen it from the state. But nobody needs to know that.
okay.
And that's the way you don't have to match if they change. You
And
took
then-
it from a good definition.
Yeah, and then in the future, if the state does change their definition and someone is fighting us on it, is the state's definition the one that we will then go by?
No,
Can they argue
No,
that
we will
they
go-
were using the state's definition? If it's, I can't imagine that
no,
being
we could,
less strict.
what we would say in response to that is we would say, we're using an accepted definition of acre.
Right.
Yeah,
We would, if we don't quote the code, say acres defined in 1020-2, we're just saying acre, but we've used a good definition that is accepted by the state. Then if someone down the way says, hey, acre is not 6.23, it's 2.63, we have our code to go by.
okay. Sounds good.
That checks.
And then, as you were just reading from the question too, also regarding definitions, term defined in the state code. So then
Yeah,
we
so
already
that's
answered that, I
exactly
think
what
it's
we
best
just
that they
said.
follow state law. Okay. And then number 3, still on the state law wavelength, how best do we incorporate more than just state code definitions, but also code without duplicating it? Some jurisdictions will simply say that a particular process is governed by a state code and then reference it. Variance that would be granted subject to the criteria in UCA 10-9A-601, not the actual site. That helps staff and a citizen to know where to look. Important things to think about for all processes are the following: submittals and fees, who is the decision maker, criteria for governing approval. Hope this helps you get started.
Okay,
So what?
here's, if I may, this
Yes.
is what I take from this.
Yes.
He doesn't want us to take out nearly as much as Kristen was suggesting. But he wants it clear cut and relying on existing information. We don't have to redefine the word acre. We can just steal the word acre. Because, and by the way, ours is probably just fine for something like the word acre already. But the most important point, and we heard this the other night, and we've heard it at every training we've gone to, is consistency. If your town can stand up to the argument of consistency, that every single time we've told a developer that an acre is an acre, then no one can argue acre with us if we told them the same. So if we just go through our definitions, make sure they match, and I think was definitions Ann and Brian. Ann, were you on definitions with Brian?
Yes.
I think definition.
Yeah.
We're all going to discuss.
I know, but, oh, you mean it wasn't a.
I don't think it was
assigned-
assigned. but
Okay, okay.
No,
Doesn't matter. Whenever we are discussing, we should just open up the state law and go acre, and just follow through.
Yeah,
And if it's so different, find out why we're so different.
right.
And if it's just a word here or there, perfect.
Yeah.
And keep it simple. And that's when we'll find some of the ones that Kristen went, you don't need it. Because if the word porch is in ours and the word porch is in, maybe we don't need the word porch,
That's true.
but. So
Yeah.
that could be good.
Yeah.
I think this is better than I thought it was.
Yeah, I agree. When I first read it, I was like, okay, forward.
I think we'll be okay with that.
Yeah,
Good.
perfect. Anyone else have anything to report on their Bluff zoning code assignments?
Well,
No,
I do.
Awesome.
And I'm sorry, Malia, I am like beyond computer illiterate sometimes. I wanted to send all the stuff I had sent to Brian and Brian and I talked about, but I don't know how to do it within Outlook because I don't know anything about Outlook.
Very
So,
fair. Able to hit the forward and just send it to me, I can distribute it to everyone. If it's just
okay.
email,
Yeah.
you just.
So what it is, okay, I looked at Torrey, Altamont, Boulder, Canaraville, and Huntsville ordinances. They're all incorporated towns similar to Bluff. Population-wise, they're near tourist activities. Well, not really Altamont. I guess it depends on how you feel about Vernal. And they have agriculture in their plans. And so that's kind of what we're using to look at other towns that have a lot of similarity to ours. Um, the one thing I can say is they're much more simplified. Like Torrey has literally 2 zones. All these towns have maybe max 5. They don't have 3 agriculture. Our zoning and our ordinances are so much more complex. And these are towns that are all between 200 and 400 population. So to me, they were pretty similar. And so what we're trying to do is kind of match what other similar towns have and why do we have so much complexity to what we're doing? And at this point, obviously, we're not recommending anything. We're just trying to see how close to apples and apples we are. And obviously, I'm ignorant from the standpoint of how we got to where we are today with the ordinances we have, and the zones we have. So I'm not faulting anyone for what the work that's been done previously, but I, we're just hoping to come up with, maybe some suggestions as to how to perhaps simplify what we have.
I think that would be excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will say one thing I was thinking about, when speaking with a concerned citizen about like infrastructure development and such in town and how that might enable like large box retailers to come into town, which I don't think would like, it's not something that would happen overnight or whatever, but I do think that there is validity in preserving like our downtown cores
Yes.
character. And like the way it looks and the way it feels and how it's not like there's no Family Dollar in town.
Well,
which is-
that's because Steve didn't sell them a lot.
Thank you, Steve. Thank God.
Well, and that was an interesting, I apologize because I haven't looked at it in the last 24 hours and I don't remember things that long ago. At least 2 of the towns had designated kind of a historical, something of a historical preservation as part of the overall theme of the town, which I think has a lot of legitimacy. Again, we'll see what happens, but that's a really good point, Caitlin, because I think particularly as the dairy cafe property, as I call it, eventually gets transformed in something, that's a huge swath of land. And obviously preserving the look that is in the historic district would be great to see, you know, there be some ramifications from not making it not just a big box store, but even if it's residential, not have things that don't go with the town.
Right, well, and
Oh.
I think to maybe cap my thought a little bit is I was looking at, there's a town in California close to where I was born, called Carmel by the Sea. And Carmel by the Sea is this glorious, tiny, very ultra expensive, extraordinarily dense, riddled with small businesses and residential and like waving roads. It's a really interesting place to think about when we're thinking about our zoning code and maintaining the aesthetic and historical properties of what we have without, obviously we cannot go Carmel by the Sea hard on it.
Clint Eastwood come be our mayor too?
Oh, I hope not. But the thing that they did do was prohibit certain commercial uses within that historic district. And I think looking into how that might happen as we're decomplicating code could be interesting. On this topic, maybe. I don't know. With that also doing what we did and making it prohibitively expensive to live and exist there. However.
Yeah, these are all really great things. So thank you for all that research, and I'm sure that took so much time to find the
was-
place.
It was interesting.
For them, and that's a lot of work. Thank you.
I would
Eager to
just,
see.
I would just add in the line, I would love to see us simplify.
Mm.
I loved Kristen going, get rid of this, knowing full well we weren't going to get rid of everything.
Right.
I love the idea that we just bring it into manageable, in particular, the number of, it was kind of like commercial is commercial, just, if you can
Right.
build along the highway, commercial, whatever we come up with. And to stop being that. Historically speaking, I am disinclined to agree with my friends on the panel, therefore we should move on. I don't do historical zones well, so we're okay. That's just.
Well, I'd be curious how the historic, because I know that that SHPO has recognized quite a bit of black locust.
The residential corner, yes.
Yeah, and so I'd be curious how the SHPO rules would apply.
SHPO typically, in the case that I understand it, and this
Yeah.
is not a quote, this is an understanding, is the existing stuff versus what you bring in. The stuff you bring in would fall to what the ladies have been speaking to, what you say in your zone. And to me, that's hard. I don't want to tell people what they could do. I don't want Family Dollar to be on Black Locust Street. I understand what we're talking about here and I respect that. But if in fact somebody comes along with a presentation of a market kind of thing, we need to look at that. This town needs a market. Just saying. So I don't want to say to the market, oh, would you build with a false Western ancient looking front for us so that we're
Right.
historical? I want to be careful not to limit. Doesn't have to be a red Family Dollar sign. No question there.
Yeah.
But it does do, so this is good discussion of how to make that work. And the zoning code getting simple and having a few rules of whatever is decided, that makes sense. I think we're on our way.
Yeah,
It's
we're
just-
making moves. And I assume we'll probably pick it back up at our next work session. Does anyone have any other thoughts on that line item? So number 4 items for next agenda, I assume that we'll probably see numbers 1 and 2 on our next agenda from today's the subdivision lot. We'll probably see that application and then finalizing that WUI code
Right.
map and
A Louis map,
voting.
yeah. And then time permitting, we go on to keeping discussion
Yeah.
for the redlining the zoning
yeah,
code.
and then if time.
And I know
line
you're
number
going out
three.
of town and stuff, so when you get back, call me and we'll, with some things
Yeah.
to do. Perfect,
You got it.
perfect.
Yeah, awesome. Anything else you guys are going to see on the next agenda? Perfect. 5, other. Does anyone have an other?
I have an other.
All right.
The first other has been brought up already in our chit chat, and that is, can we please, and it might not be tonight because we're talking a lot, can we please get a lesson in sending each other the right messages? Because I couldn't open yours, or I could open, and I
Yeah.
couldn't send mine, just like Ann just said,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
I need help, and
Yeah.
sounds like we all do.
okay.
Okay. The other one that I have is, on one of our occasions, you guys assigned me, maybe just Malia assigned me the right to ask the question, must we notice when we go as a group to training? Remember how Erin was saying, oh, we can't carpool and things like that. So I sent my email to UCLT, ULCT, and never got an answer. However, we went to training the other night with ULCT director. So I walked up to him afterwards, found out it was the old email address, so it never went through, and said, okay, then give me a 2-minute answer, a 1-minute answer. Do we have to notice the fact that we came here
Yeah.
to training? Aha, he said. Well, if there's more than, a quorum, then you're supposed, if there's a quorum, you're supposed to tell people. But most places don't. Some places do. They tell if they're all going in the car, yes, we are traveling to training as a bunch of quorum of people. We're attending a training as a
Mhm.
quorum, we're doing. So if you think there's going to be a quorum, you can notice. But he said so many people do not. And the key to it is consistency. If you do it, always do it. And if you don't do it. But he did not say we had to. So you and Erin can talk, or I can talk to Erin and we can decide. But if we're going to get a quorum of people, either town council or planning and zoning, we need to decide if we tell the public. My take on this is the public can't come to this. Therefore, why bother noticing them? If they get angry that we do this, we explain to them that we're doing it to save money, carpool, and get where we need to go as a group. And that it's not that we make decisions in the car. We're talking about how to do the business of the town. We're not talking about the business of the town. There's my take.
Perfect. Thanks for getting the answer. As we were sitting there at the meeting, I turned to you and I was like, did you get an answer? And then I was like, ah. It's in the
I
middle of training,
I
so-
had it on my list of
Cool.
things to see if I could corner someone,
Yeah.
and I cornered Cameron.
Yeah, consistency is key. That's interesting. I'd be curious because we have been noticing them and if it's recommended that we continue. Or if we write a notice and saying, we are no longer going to notice this.
Yeah, and you could, yeah, I agree. You could just say, the town of Bluff hereby announces that if we're going to training, we will do our best to make it convenient for all members to show up. And that may mean carpooling, that may mean, so,
Yeah, cool. That's great.
okay, I'm
Thanks
done.
for sharing. That was a fabulous training, by the way.
It was lovely. And
Um,
dinner was good too.
It was good. You lunch the next day?
Yeah. We took the upstairs home.
All right, any others? All right.
So
Um,
yeah, I do have just a question. So I brought up that Shumway thing because apparently it was discussed at the Old Farts lunch. And I don't know anything about it. But when are those kind of rumors that circulate that someone's gonna do a subdivision, blah, blah, blah. I'm assuming it's just a rumor because they haven't applied for anything. Is that correct?
Yeah, so the history of or my personal experience of the history of the Shumway property is that he came to planning and zoning on my first 2 years of being in planning and zoning, so probably 24. Asking about putting something in there, and we told him basically that there isn't any water or septic out there, and that if he was able to work with that, then great. But that's kind of my understanding of where it was left. And so if he does decide to do a subdivision, it will need to come to us as we were looking through our subdivision ordinance. I don't know that thing through and through, but as we saw with Jen coming today, just for subdividing a lot, he would have to come to us for approval to subdivide it, to sell it.
Okay.
And go from there.
Yeah. With no paperwork, we're just talking amongst friends here.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you
Right.
know, and
Okay.
the old farts are a font of lack of knowledge.
Yes, they are. Yes, I agree.
They're so.
And they think women gossip. Good God. All right.
All right,
I move to adjourn.
awesome, 7:17.
I second. Wonderful.
Awesome.
Thank
Fabulous
you all.
job.
Thanks, Ann. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Good night.
For all the